All right, let's talk about a watch that's really trying to shake up the GPS market, the brand new Coros Pace 4. Now, it's loaded with new features, and opinions are flying from reviewers like the 5K runner. But the real question is it the right watch for you? Well, we're going to figure that out.
And look, this isn't just hype. One of the top reviewers out there, DC Rainmaker, is already calling it a very solid watch at a very solid price point. So right away, you know we're talking about a device that promises some serious bang for your buck.
But, and this is the really interesting part, its biggest competition might actually be from its own siblings, like the recently price-dropped Pace Pro. So is the brand new Pace 4 really the best choice for your wrist? Let's break it down.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at what Coros is trying to do here. Then we'll get into all the good stuff, the upgrades, and just as importantly, the trade-offs. We'll put it head-to-head with the Pace Pro, see how it stacks up against Garmin, and then wrap it all up with a final verdict to help you make your decision.
You know, Coros is playing a really interesting game here. DC Rainmaker calls it threading the price needle. They're giving us premium hardware, like that amazing new screen, but they're trying to do it without that premium price tag. It's a tricky balancing act for sure.
And you know, Coros has been at this for a while. The Pace series has a really strong history, going all the way back to 2018. It's always been the go-to line for runners who just want pure performance and simplicity without all the extra fluff. Okay, let's get to the fun part. What are you actually getting with this new Pace 4? Because this isn't just some small refresh. We're talking about some major leaps in the hardware. The single biggest upgrade, without a doubt, is the screen. They finally ditched that old memory in pixel display and put in a gorgeous 1.2-inch AMOLED screen. I mean, we're talking 164% higher resolution. It's so much brighter, so much sharper, it honestly makes the old screen look like it's from another decade. Now, normally you'd hear AMOLED screen and think, well, there goes the battery life, right? Nope. In its most accurate GPS mode, the Pace 4 gets an insane 41 hours. To put that in perspective, that's 16 hours more than the Pace 3. It's a pretty incredible feat of engineering. And get this, it does all that while weighing next to nothing. Just 32 grams with that nylon band. Coros has this great line. They say it's lighter than the gel tucked into your pocket. You will literally forget you're even wearing it.
And then there's the price. This might be the real knockout punch. It's just $249. That's only $20 more than the Pace 3 was when it launched. And you are getting such a massive upgrade in the hardware.
And the list of new stuff just keeps going. You also get a microphone now, so you can take quick voice notes. There's a new customizable action button, a completely redesigned heart rate sensor for better accuracy, and finally, USB-C charging. Okay, so a beautiful screen, an incredible battery, a super low price. It all sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? And yeah, to hit that $249 price, Coros definitely had to make some very specific and pretty important compromises.
So here's a really practical, kind of weird downside that reviewer Fit Gear Hunter pointed out. Even with that beautiful new screen, the font size they use for notifications is tiny. He actually calls it the smallest on the market today. If you have any trouble with small text, this could be a real problem.
But honestly, the single biggest feature they cut to hit that price? It's the mapping. The Pace 4 only gives you basic breadcrumb navigation, which is really just a simple line on the screen to follow. It does not have the full, detailed offline maps that you get on the Pace Pro. And if you're a trail runner or a hiker, that is a massive difference.
In that one missing feature, well, it brings us right to the heart of the decision you have to make. Because the Pace 4's biggest competition might not be from Garmin. It might be from right inside the Coros family. Let's put it next to the Pace Pro.
So what's really interesting is when you put them side by side like this, the trade-offs become crystal clear. For just $50 more, the Pace Pro gets you a bigger screen, a huge jump in storage, from 4 gigs up to 32 gigs for your music, and of course the big one, full offline mapping.
$50. That's it. That's the number that really changes the whole conversation here. Because Coros recently dropped the price of the Pace Pro to just $299, that $50 gap is really small. It forces you to ask yourself, is saving $50 worth giving up a bigger screen and actual maps?
Okay, so we've talked Coros versus Coros, but of course they don't exist in a vacuum. To get the whole picture, we have to see how the Pace 4 stacks up against its main rival in this price range, which is really the Garmin Forerunner 165.
And this is where it's less about specs and more about, well, a different philosophy. Coros, with the Pace 4, is like a specialized tool.
It's completely focused on core performance for serious athletes. You get amazing battery life and a simple, clean interface. Garmin, on the other hand, is more of a generalist. It gives you a much broader suite of health and wellness tracking, more smartwatch features, and a way bigger app ecosystem. All right, so we have covered a ton of ground here. The new tech, the big compromises, and the competition. Let's pull it all together and give you a clear, final verdict on who should actually go out and buy the Coros Pace 4.
Let's make this super simple. The Pace 4 is absolutely for you if you're a dedicated road runner or triathlete. If what you care about most is how light and comfortable a watch is, if you want the best battery you can possibly get with a beautiful AMOLED screen, and you know for a fact you just don't need detailed maps. If that's you, this watch is a home run. On the flip side, you should probably look elsewhere if you're a trail runner or hiker who actually needs maps. If a bigger screen is important to you, then that extra $50 for the Pace Pro is money well spent. And if you want all those deeper wellness metrics or smartwatch stuff like Spotify, then a Garmin like the Forerunner 165 is probably a better fit for you.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. The Coros Pace 4 is a fantastic watch, but it forces you to ask a very personal question. What do you prioritize more? The absolute lightest watch with the best battery, or a whole lot more features for just a little more money? The right answer? Well, that depends entirely on you.